All right, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be a full review of this knife, and this is the Spyderco Shaman in Z-Wear PM steel and what they call burlap micarta. And this is a sprint run knife, so it is a limited run. Now, I've heard, I haven't seen the exact numbers, but I've heard that this is a larger run than most sprint runs for Spyderco, so there's more of these made. But even still, like many of Spyderco's sprint runs, and especially the knives in micarta, this has been difficult to get and has sold out very quickly at most dealers that have gotten them so far. I believe most dealers have gotten them, but a lot still have not released them. So if you're interested, definitely keep an eye out. Now, I got this knife because I had previously gotten the Spyderco Shaman sprint run in crew wear steel and I think it was natural micarta. I'm forgetting exactly what type of micarta they called it, but pretty much the same type of micarta. And it was really, really cool, but it just seemed a little expensive for me. Wasn't something that I thought was a complete necessity in my collection. But I do really like the Shaman, and I do like micarta. I didn't have a micarta handled modern knife, and I wanted to have one. And so when they announced that they were making this knife, because there was so much demand for the other micarta Shaman, I decided to get one. And I was able to get one from Indiana Knives. And I was really excited to get it. It took a long time. They didn't come out for a long time after they were announced, which is probably, of course, in large part due to COVID. But when I did get it, I was really excited. I did an unboxing and was really happy with it. In the unboxing, it didn't have any blade play. It had really nice action, well centered, looked good, everything like that. Right after the unboxing video, I was taking a little bit of a closer look, and I realized that the edge had damage. So you can't see it now because it has been sharpened, but the edge had, man, there's a lot of gunk on this here. The edge had been damaged up towards the tip, and I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that it was a very small but long, so not like a deep, but a long chip right here in the edge. And it's just something I was really, really disappointed in. I mean, I don't think that should really happen on any knife. Certainly I get knives that are much, much less expensive than this that don't have, that issue. So I was disappointed. Of course, I wouldn't be able to get a replacement from the dealer because these are so limited. They didn't have any replacement models or replacement of this model. I didn't really want to send it to Spyderco, although I'm sure they would have done a good job sharpening it. I've had mixed results sending knives to Spyderco, often good results, but sometimes not the results I was hoping for. So I didn't really want to take the time to send it into Spyderco, so I did end up sharpening it, and this was my first time sharpening Z-Wear. I have sharpened lots of super steels before, but not the easiest steel to sharpen for sure. It did take a little bit to get the chip out, but I did get the chip out and got it sharp. But then in the first day, the same day that I got this, I realized that this pivot screw, the show side or non-clip side pivot screw, was just completely loose and literally working its way out. It was, unscrewing itself. So that was also really disappointing. I mean, it would really, really be unfortunate to lose that screw and then have to try to get another one from Spyderco. And once I realized that was happening, it had developed a bunch of blade play. So even when locked, it had very significant side-to-side blade play. So it was really, not something I would have expected. Again, I get knives that are much cheaper than this that don't have that issue, that stay solid. I did take it apart. I didn't take it apart, actually. I just took this, the pivot screws out. And there was no Loctite on this. Now, for a long time, Spyderco was using red Loctite, which is non-removable, and everybody hated it, and now they don't. They use blue Loctite, and there was blue Loctite on this side, which is blue Loctite is the removable thread locker. And I think it's good to put on modern knives. There was blue Loctite on this side, but there was none at all on this side. So I don't know if that's something where they're not putting it on it or they, just forgot, but it didn't have any. So I, put it on, I adjusted the pivot, got it so that there's no blade play, and it's nice and smooth. But again, not the best first day of owning this knife. Now, because I sharpened it and, had to adjust it, I did put it in my pocket. I carried it for a few days and used it some and stuff like that. And I do like it a lot. That's the thing. I really like the ergonomics. It's just super comfortable in the hand, especially with this micarta. The micarta looks and feels great. I oiled this micarta, so it gives it a little bit of a darker, more even look. But the main grip area is very, very comfortable for me. The choil is usable and comfortable. I really like the blade shape. It's kind of like what Spyderco calls a leaf shape blade, and it's a super useful blade shape with some straight edge, a good sweeping belly, and then a very usable point also. And so I do like the knife. I like it a lot. And I've enjoyed having it. It certainly, is smooth. It's well made, other than those issues that it came with. And what I mean by that is well machined. It seems to be relatively evenly ground side to side on the main bevel, and it's a cool knife. But I just really struggle with the fact that you can buy a $224 or around there knife made in the USA and have it come with those issues. It just really shouldn't. This knife, that price is definitely on the higher end of my price to value ratio, where I feel comfortable, the value you're getting for the price you're paying. In fact, I think that it's a little bit beyond. I definitely typically don't buy knives in that price range. And so to get a knife in that price range and have it have issues that, knives in a much lower price range, much lower, in fact, don't have is disheartening to me. It was unpleasant. Now, it would be even more unpleasant if this wasn't a knife that I could sell for a very reasonable price, because it is so sought after. If I had gotten this in some other version that was $190, $200 and it had those issues, I probably wouldn't have been able to sell it for anywhere near what I bought it for. So it's just something where I don't like to see that. It doesn't make me confident in buying these higher end Spyderco knives, and it certainly doesn't push me to buying more. There's a lot of Spyderco knives on my list of knives that I want, and while this may be an anomaly, there may not be other issues on this run, although I have heard at least one other person had blade play from the factory. It certainly isn't something I like to see. Now, like I said, I wanted to get this knife because it has this cool micarta. It has a really comfortable handle, and it's big, strong seaming. And so recently I got this knife. This is a Kaiser Sheepdog XL, and it's not exactly the same. Obviously, it has a liner lock and a flipper instead of a spider hole. And it has a modified sheep foot or cleaver style blade. But in the handle, at least, it's kind of similar. You can see that they both have this kind of index finger and then swell and then a curve. So there are some similarities, and this knife is significantly less than half the price, and kind of fills the same niche that I was planning or hoping to fill with this knife. So I'd love to keep this knife. I'm not sure that I'm going to, but that's just my thoughts on it. Now, one other interesting thing that I wanted to mention in this video is that aside from, you can do the wow, that was rough. Middle finger flick. You can do the thumb flick. You can just use your thumb to slowly open it. I have found on both the shamans that or actually all three shamans that I've had, that you can do I didn't do it there, but you can do, maybe you can't do it, a front flip. Now, I'm not into front flipper knives. I actually dislike the idea of front flipper knives. It's not practical, in my opinion, but because it has such sharp jimping, you can get it to open with a front flip style opening method. But like I say, very cool knife. I wish that I had gotten a perfect model, a perfect example, because if so, I definitely would have wanted to keep it. As you know, it stands, having gotten this, I'm not sure that I will, but something that I am happy to have at least gotten to check out. So that's my thoughts on this Spyderco Shaman. I love the design. I love the knife overall. Just not happy that I got a knife with two functional issues at such a high price for me. So I hope this video is helpful, and if you enjoy it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up for the like. You can leave any comments you have. Also check out my Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts, and my website, knifethoughts.com. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.